Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Terra, and we are here to talk about Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 10. It's called Terra Part 2, and it is very much the second half of the previous episode, which is really obvious, I suppose, but full spoilers for the episode, as always. I guess the first thing I want to say about this is just how much of a weird structure this episode is, because I assumed that the mirror universe would take up pretty much the whole episode and would only come back right at the very end. We actually come back like halfway through and then continue with and then there's like subplots that start happening on the ship and we cut between characters. And I'm like, this is so weird. This is such a weird structure of an episode. And it kind of mirrors last episode, and it worked in the last episode because the last episode was all the build up and why are we going here, what we're doing. It was so weird in this one though to get to like this point halfway through. And it's not so much that there's anything afterwards that, or at least the main stuff afterwards doesn't feel like it still belongs here, because it's clearly the goodbye of a character that answers a lot of questions that I had actually have had for the past year about where things are going. Because before this season, before the end of season 2 even, we heard, oh, they're doing a Section 31 show. It's going to star Giorgio. Oh, great. So, oh, they're going to jump to the future. Well, I guess Giorgio's staying behind. Oh, wait, no, she went with them. How's that going to work?
Yeah, after they destroyed, like, Section 31.
Yes, all very weird.
Well, I mean, Section 31 can move on without Leland and all that, but, yeah. I mean, I had all those questions, too.
So, new Section 31. The one critique is, because the whole idea at the end is that she's going to go back in time. We'll explain why and how and all the rest of it, but is that, you know, she's going to go back and make a difference and do something good now instead of, you know, who she was in the past. I did see critiques online that Section 31, and you'll know this, and I won't, because I have not seen things like Deep Space Nine and all the other shows, but the complaint was is that Section 31 ultimately is not a good thing in future shows. So does this belittle her I'm going to go back and do good kind of mentality a little bit?
Well, yeah, Section 31 is evil for the sake of the Federation and of Earth.
Interesting.
It's like the dark part of the, you know, the CIA that we don't like to talk about. Or, yeah, this is a branch of our government, but they do some shady things, and we like to think that it's all legit. It had to be done.
It's so,
and then we don't talk about it.
What's so weird to me about Section 31 is that having not gotten to the real Section 31 stuff yet, as it was introduced, is that I don't, like, up until now at least, it doesn't feel like it belongs in Star Trek, because it doesn't feel like the world of Star Trek.
No, I mean, that's the whole point of it, is that it makes the morally wrong choice in order for the best outcome to happen. And that is not a very utopian future. No. That was definitely something that was created post Gene Roddenberry's death.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, and I'm sure people like the plot lines. I assume anyway that.
Yeah, I mean, whenever it comes up, it feels like a special event. It's almost like Q is coming back or something. It's just oh yeah, this is a thing we know about, that we've seen, and. It started, I think, in Deep Space Nine, and then it was there was a bit of a longer storyline in Enterprise, but not too significant, and then Discovery has been rolling with it. I think a lot of the books and like comic spin-offs have had quite a bit.
That makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of Star Trek comics and books. So, I mean, we'll go back and talk about what happens in the Mirror Universe, but I think maybe the headline stuff here is, you know, we find out who this mysterious old man is. And it's funny because last episode we talked about how, this feels like an original series thing almost, and it's got almost refreshing. And then they pull the reveal out for us here where it actually literally is something from the original series, rather. From City on the Edge of Forever, the Guardian of Time? Guardian of Universe?
Universe, I think?
Universe. And it's that thing where I heard when he said the name and he said the voice, I was like, oh, I recognize that voice. And it was when I saw the actual portal thing, I was like, oh, I know exactly what episode that's from.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun reveal. I was thinking it was a Q, but like there are so many of those godlike aliens in Star Trek that it doesn't need to be Q every time.
Yeah, it's neat. Because from what I recall of that episode, which is very good, one of the best.
Definitely one of the best. A lot of people's favorite.
I don't remember the voice ever having like a body. It was always just like a voice in that episode, right? It was always just this.
No, it was like it looked like a broken wall or something that was there, but I think it is a sentient portal. It does talk.
It doesn't. I recognize the voice, but I'm saying is that it never materialized into the visual of a human being. It never did that in the original episode. I mean, obviously, I remember the portal and the rock and all that, because it's like the portal's inside the rock, and you just have this, disembodied voice talking in the original episode. So this was kind of a spin on it. But let's be honest, mostly just so we could have the big surprise of like, oh, it's this. Because if it had just been that immediately, it'd have been like, oh, well, I know what this is. They wanted just to all go, ooh, which is.
I'm not upset about the portal being able to conjure the image of Carl.
No.
I very much enjoyed him, and I enjoyed the reveal of the Guardian.
Me neither.
I like the idea that the sphere is the only thing that would have that kind of data in order to be like, this is what can help you. This is where you need to go to help you. This is the only answer. Like, of course, the sphere that has all this knowledge, plus all the current knowledge of pinpointing where it could be hiding.
Yeah. What's interesting is that. I mean, I guess the sphere is able to look through it and like consider the options, but the data of this place with this, with the portal and the Guardian, that has to come from post-Discovery, because that presumably comes from the fact that the Enterprise, which is after Discovery, landed there, went through this adventure, and that's why it's in the record banks. And so the information was always technically there, but clearly this sphere was able to look at that and go, hey, I know what that is. This can help because of this. Whereas obviously, just techies at what's left of the Federation going through data like, oh no, this may help. Some sort of weird portal. What I do like about this, though, what I do appreciate about this is that the solution, because I was worried about the solution to fix Giorgio and thinking it might be cheap. I actually think this is a perfect solution in the sense that the problem is that time has went on, the two universities have drifted apart. That's why she's going through this, and there's nothing we can really do to fix it. So the solution being, we're going to send her back through time to when the universities were more or less in sync, and she'll be fine for her natural living life. It's like, oh, that actually doesn't feel cheap. That makes sense to me. It actually doesn't feel like a bullshit cop-out. Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree.
And conveniently, it also means she's there for her new Section 31 show in the past.
Is that still going? Because I haven't really heard anything about it.
I believe it is. I think the reason why maybe we haven't heard much for a while is because they knew they couldn't do it until after this all happened. Like, this all had to be there to set it up.
It better not be pushed aside for a freaking Captain Pike show.
I mean, that's obviously.
Because if I lose the best character in Discovery for a Captain Pike show, I'm the worst character in Discovery. I'm gonna be so upset.
I am looking forward to Brave New Worlds, starring Captain Pike, one of the best characters of Discovery.
Unbelievable.
And you know the best thing about Brave New Worlds? No Ash Tyler. Whereas that's Giorgio Section 31 show is going to have that prick.
We don't know what time she goes back to. She doesn't have to go back there. She can go she could start Section 31. Who knows?
I never thought of her going further back. I could see her going back, but not all the way back to like right after she left. Maybe a bit, like maybe they'll send her back and it'll be like post Deep Space Nine, but not. But that's only like 150 years, something like that after.
I mean, Enterprise was a prequel series, and Section 31 started back then, so they can go all the way. Like they can do something in between Enterprise time and the original series time, which is not something we've explored, with the exception of Discovery. But I mean, there's still a good 100 or so years in between.
Yeah, I was going to say, but if she goes back to before Discovery and starts Section 31, does that not kind of diminish all of her efforts when we know how it ends in Discovery, that it all just kind of went to shit and she had to help destroy it?
Well, she'll be dead.
I think that hurts the meaning of what she's doing if it's like to start Section 31 before that. I think relaunching it and leading it after everything that happened to Discovery as a fresh new take makes more sense.
Maybe she goes back, but she doesn't go as far back as when there is another Giorgio there. So she goes back pre-burn.
That's what I'm suggesting. I'm saying she goes back, but just not all the way back.
Section 31 is good now. Okay, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it'll be. Maybe she'll make it good. Maybe she'll say, okay, this needs to be whipped out of shape.
Yeah, she's going back to rebrand.
Yeah. Because I wonder if we'll go back and like Ash will have a big beard because it's been like 10 years or something like that, and she'll be like, "All right, you have messed this up."
Do we know that he's part of that show too?
I don't know if we ever confirmed he's actually cast in the show, but when we left him at the end of the season 2, it felt like he was part of that, group, and he was staying part of that group.
Yeah, he didn't go back to Klingon or to Kronos.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I could be wrong.
I just watched it too. I just watched season 2.
Could it be that it's not that memorable in a lot of ways, or his character's not that memorable?
Yeah, I don't really like season 2 that much. I mean, I like the show. The show's 10 out of 10. It's Star Trek.
You can't say you don't like a whole season and give the show 10 out of 10.
I was just disappointed at season 2.
When you say disappointed, do you mean like, oh, it's only a 9.5, I'm a little disappointed? Or...
No, I mean, it's still a 10.
It can still be a 10. Like, your Star Trek goggles... Wait, can I say it's funny? I won't say what it is, because I know you've not watched it, right? But there was something in the Mandalorian finale, which happened, like, yesterday or today, whenever it dropped. And it's just funny to me how much more excited I think I was in this, because the reveal of the Guardian of the Universe... It can't be Guardian of the Universe. That's a Green Lantern thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. I can't remember what is the exact title.
I don't know. My keyboard's too loud for typing, so you'd have to check.
I'll check in a second.
Just call him the Guardian.
The Guardian. That's my cop out. Yeah. But there was a reveal. There was like a character thing on the finale. I won't spoil it. But
was it Michael Biehn?
I mean, I wish I would catch up.
He's
with the
in
Mandalorian.
that season, right? I never
Is
got
he?
that far. Yeah, he was cast in The Mandalorian season 2.
Guardian of Forever. That's the title. The bastard.
City on the Edge of Forever.
It makes sense when you think about it. I think it's because Guardian of the Universe is like I say, something from Green Lantern. So the little blue guys who sort of run the Green Lanterns, they're Guardians of the Universe.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I know, I'm a nerd. What do you want?
Nerd.
Says the woman who just said, "Oh, Star Trek season 2, Discovery season 2 is a 10 out of 10." It's disappointing. I don't like it that much, but it's still a 10.
It's just Pike. Pike makes things so much worse.
He was the best part of season 2.
If he wasn't in it, it would have been so good.
He was the best part of season 2. Anyway, I'm just saying, I think the reveal of the Guardian Forever in this was way more exciting, and didn't feel as... Because let's be honest, Discovery at times has been a little too like, hey, nostalgia. I mean, the entire inclusion of Spock as the brother honestly felt like that to me. But I think what Star Wars The Mandalorian just did at the end of its second season, I rolled my eyes when I read, because I didn't care about spoilers because I stopped watching it. So I was curious, what's everyone talking about?
I guess, I'm gonna watch it. I watched like up to the egg episode,
which is why I'm being nice not to just blurt it out.
Okay, thanks. I'm sure IMDb will ruin it for me when I go to look up a movie, because they've been doing that already throughout the whole series. It's my fault for not keeping up.
But yes, so no, that reveal was cool. The reason why the fix to her problem is also cool. I don't know if I necessarily buy how much everyone loves her, and treats her like a death afterwards.
I love her. Like, she's a character that really grew on me, and she shouldn't be as well loved as she is because she's evil. But she really did have a huge character arc throughout the series.
She absolutely did. But I think the problem is they treat her like
like she didn't throw soup on them.
Like she didn't murder thousands of people in her life. I'm just saying, more of a conflicted feeling that was maybe a bit more shades of grey, where, you know what, I grew to like her, she grew a lot as a person, and I'm going to miss her. But the way they give speeches about her, it's like, oh no, she was my Giorgio. To hell with the real one. No, she was my Giorgio. Everyone drank to Giorgio. She was a light in our lives. And I'm like, this is a bit much. I feel like you're treating her like you're just ignoring the fact that she was the head of a dictatorship, of a genocidal evil empire for I mean, this is a woman who's what, like, most Michelle Yeoh, like in her mid-50s, something like that.
Yeah, she looks amazing though.
Yeah, this is not. I'm just the point I'm making is that for the majority of her, not.
Yeah, they said she was like a teenager or something when she freed them from whatever their other emperor was.
Yes, lots of decades. The point I'm making is that for many decades she was murdering people and doing this. It wasn't just like she had a rough patch, like she was going through a phase in college where she murdered some people and then she got better. She was doing it for decades.
Right. Yeah.
And it's okay to acknowledge that she's gotten better, that she's learned something, and that's the strength of the arc, is the strength that she doesn't want to be that anymore. That when she's over there in the mirror universe, that she says, no, I'm not going to kill Michael, although she does quite happily let Michael kill like 50 other people on the ship in the wake of that. But it's growth, whatever. I'm just saying they treat her a bit too with
she's also in survival
glasses. Mode. She is, yes.
Michael had to kill somebody also when she went into the mirror universe.
True, but not as many as this, I suppose.
I forgot his name, but he was the guy who was also in the pilot episode on the Shenzhou.
Yes, that does ask me. I have no idea.
And poor Landry. Landry just can't catch a break.
Well, we see tons of people. I mean, Detmer gets stabbed in this episode. Well, I mean, not obviously real Detmer, but mirror Detmer gets stabbed.
Yeah. Landry's only like, you can come back for one more episode. You get killed again.
Yeah.
We just love killing Landry.
Yeah, I liked. So I liked a lot of the stuff after she came back. I mean, I wasn't thrilled for a split second when I thought it might have just been, oh, it was all a dream. But I was like, no. She actually was gone somewhere for like 3 months. She lived through it.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little bit of a contact moment. Like, okay. Like,
yeah, okay. But no, I like the resolution.
What? It was.
The first. No, I wasn't disagreeing with your comparison. I was just emphasizing how I felt in the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with the comparison. The comparison's solid.
Not everyone loves that movie, so maybe.
I don't remember it well enough. I'm sure we'll do it in the Ace before too long. But the first half of the episode, the conditioning of evil Michael and putting her in the torture chamber, that felt like it kind of went in circles for me a little bit. How are you on this first half?
I thought that Shaniqua Martin Green did an awesome job portraying pain. Like, she's good at that, that's for sure. No, and I never really bought that she was totally back, because I don't think torture works that way. I sort of did enjoy the angle of, like, this is the mirror universe, and to show love, you do it through pain. And I did like all the times they cut back to Giorgio and her like torment of watching Michael go through this, and I was still rooting for her the whole time.
I was oddly conflicted with some of the logic in the mirror universe here, where they see Giorgio as not killing Michael as a weakness, and Michael's screaming that out at one point. And Giorgio raises this argument of, well, no, I'm going to do worse. I'm going to torture you for a long, long time and break you and make you submit. And I'm like, yeah, that is worse than death. Like, I don't know why these people aren't like thinking about this. They're like, this is more evil than death. Why is this not seen as...
I was thinking of the character in Game of Thrones, which I know you didn't watch, but there is like a whole season where a guy was tortured into basically becoming a servant afterwards, and like just had everything stripped away from him. And you do buy that transformation by the end of it. Like, yeah, he's just a shell of a man now.
Yeah, someone been stripped of their character because you break it away from them and you make them so subservient that they're willing to do anything. And then, which is what I think
would be a super dark angle to take for the Emperor Giorgio. Yeah. However, she's doing this in order to make her change her ways, like not to break her so that she can be a shell of a person, but like to break her so that she can build her up into the other Michael. Yeah, which I was not a character. I don't know. It was not something I was going to buy.
Nah, honestly, it kind of just made waiting for the turn where she's really not like on her side still, or waiting for the moment where she does sort of spring her plan. It kind of made that just feel a little bit like, okay, I'm waiting for it to happen. And when it happened, and it's just like, oh, she just turns the gun on her, the phaser on her. I was like, okay, it's happened now. I feel nothing. Yeah, yeah, of course she did. I thought there wasn't much to it. There was a bit of a gunfight. I did laugh a little bit though when there's Saru, who obviously isn't called Saru because he doesn't react to the name when Giorgio tells him about Saru. But I did laugh at him slamming Culber off the ceiling. I thought that was a delightful little moment.
Yeah, he went
fight.
through his Bahari, so he has his super strength again.
It was going pretty nuts.
It's always a nice reminder that the Kelpians are actually like horses. Like they kick like horses and they have super strength. And
yeah, whenever I see his well, not feet, I suppose, more hooves, but whenever the camera's like a wide shot and I see his legs, and I'm like, oh yeah, I always forget he's got like hooves down there. It's not it's not feet, but yeah.
He's always walking on stilts, which is not something that Doug Jones needs.
I was a little bit mixed on the first half. Like there was some obviously fine moments. It did kind of feel like I felt like they had one kind of long episode and they had to stretch it into two. So this like first half of this one, the back half of the Mirror Universe stuff was sort of like just stretched a bit to make it into 2 episodes. When they realized that, you know, so our big, because if you think about it, let's say that was shortened a bit. You'd essentially have a 3-act structure. You'd have the build up to go to the planet and then get in through the door, and then you'd have the Mirror Universe middle, and then you'd have all the stuff that comes after. And it would be maybe like an hour and 10 minutes, you know, if they were all sort of equal sized. But because like, oh no, that's too long for an episode, so we have to make it a 2-parter. So I think they stretched out the Mirror Universe stuff a bit, and I think most of that was felt in this episode rather than the last episode, because I think this is the half where it kind of felt like I was, okay, Michael's been tortured again. Okay, we're going to keep going through this for a bit.
I think I would have liked the Mirror Universe stuff to be all one episode. It would have felt more like a traditional episode of Star Trek that way. Just one character goes on this journey that offers them character growth, and then by the end we have this nice goodbye. And I think that would have been a really special episode. But instead, you're right, we get like 2 halves of the episode. And you know, when I finished watching it last week, part 1 last week, I was really excited about part 2. And then part 2 came around this week and I sort of lost my enthusiasm for it. But I mean, I'm not really disappointed in the episode at all.
Oh, it's still a 10, obviously.
It would have been nice if it just had its own little episode that I can put back on. But I think it also has to do with the other plot that's going on the Discovery isn't really meaty enough for its own episode.
Yeah, so it's just sort of shoved in here, and you know, it's serialized storytelling. It is what it is. I will say one thing I do appreciate about the Mirror Universe stuff is that this is, at least from the episodes I've seen so far, which is not a lot. Admittedly, I've seen 1 or 2 the original series, and then of course
there aren't any in Next Gen.
Yeah, so it's but well before I get to any more Mirror Universe stuff. But what I appreciate about this that felt unique is that it felt like we got to see the Mirror Universe functioning without any of our characters going there. I mean, Giorgio, okay, we know enough now that she is kind of one of our characters, but she's from there, so it was kind of interesting just seeing the Mirror Universe function without one of our good Starfleet members being there to witness it or try and hide or whatever. And yeah, sure, Giorgio was kind of hiding a little bit because she was trying to not reveal that she changed, but it was just interesting to see it function beat for beat, you know?
Well, you'll get your fill when you get through Deep Space Nine. There's a lot of Mirror Universe episodes, and they're not my favorite, but
okay.
But you'll get to, you know, get more lore.
What did I do with Cisco? Because he's already got a goatee.
Not in the first season. He doesn't get the goatee until like season 4 or 5.
Okay, but once he has the goatee, how did it show evil Cisco? Because he's
oh, I mean, you're probably not familiar with Avery Brooks's acting, but you'll know. Okay. You'll know which one's evil.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I'm just playing up the joke that you get goatees in the evil Mirror Universe version. So yeah, the other stuff wants to come back though. Obviously, we have Book try to prove his value by helping basically decode the Kelpian ship. That's the signal they've been trying to decode. Because
he's got some a device that's used by the Emerald Chain.
Yeah, I do.
That he's hacked into the Discovery now.
Yes. The Admiral's not necessarily in love with the idea of this like non-Starfleet officer hanging around, and Book's just kind of like, well, I mean, you're fighting.
Yeah, and putting Emerald Chain technology in their in the most like important ship in the universe, the one ship that can travel anywhere, in a time when there's no dilithium for even normal warp travel.
Yeah, but he's like, hey, no, like they don't really follow rules, so maybe having a scoundrel like me will help you think a little bit out of the box to catch them. It makes sense.
I know you think he's a bad role, but none of his points have been wrong so far, and he's really shown a lot of empathy. I think maybe he's a good guy.
I'm going to blame the performance sign. He comes across as a dick every time he's on screen. It doesn't matter what he's saying.
He comes across as authoritative but like kind. He's like what Captain Pike should have been.
Oh, you shut your mouth. No. I want to take a dump in his porch. Like, that's the attitude he gives me.
Oh, I don't know.
Whereas
I think you're confusing evil with intensity.
Captain Pike, I want to go up to his porch and like give him like a fruit basket and shake his hand and say, thanks Star Trek Dad for being there to take me through the dark times. This Admiral douchebag, I'm like, no. Feces in the window.
It's weird that you go straight there.
So, is
that the only revenge you know? Is poo revenge?
No. Well, I was trying to connect it to the previous of the dumping on the porch. I was trying to build a through line.
Again, yeah.
Now I'm worried that you're taking that as not all my revenge is feces based, and that's not really the intent I'm trying to get across. There could be many a revenge. Replacing toilet paper with sandpaper, for example.
Ugh. I think people would notice if they picked it up.
I'm hoping that he's been sitting there too long and his hand has went numb and he won't notice until he wipes. That's the hope.
Jesus. This guy definitely gets enough fiber. I think he's all right.
We saying? So he's in shape for a 50-year-old man? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, he's just an in shape man who definitely eats fiber.
Sure. Why is all dead fair now? I'm pondering the question. No, he's literally 50. I nailed it. He was born in 1970. Give me all the credit. I'm really bad
at that, so yeah. Sure.
Well, do you know what? There was a scare recently on Tremors, right? I said Dee Wallace because I thought Dee Wallace was in the movie. It turned out it wasn't her. So
okay.
When I said she looked like she was in her 50s, and then I felt bad because she was barely 40 when the movie came out. Turns out it was a different actress who looked like Dee Wallace, and she was a decade older. I was right, kind of.
It's really fascinating how much mental gymnastics you went through to get to you were right.
That's the important part, Tara. That's the important part.
We all know.
I did like the odd. I don't know why. Jet's an interesting character to me. I always enjoy her presence, and her just eating some knockoff Twizzler thing and just be like, it's not food.
Licorice.
It's candy. It's basically an accessory.
Yeah, candy is not the same thing as food.
Especially like I would do what I'd accept the complaint if it was like food that was crumbly, like or candy that was like a bar that crumbles, but like licorice isn't exactly
like we don't consider gum food.
No. Although black licorice is quite bad for you, so maybe
it's so good.
Be that as it may, it's just very, very bad for you.
Only if you eat like a lot of it.
Sure.
It's only toxic if it's like the only thing you eat.
It's only toxic. You should never say that about food. It's only toxic.
It only has a little bit of lead in it. Actually, I don't know what's in it, but I have heard that it can be toxic at certain levels. But I think you have to eat a whole lot of it.
I love the idea in like 2035, Tara's going to go up to a counter somewhere.
These drawers? Oh, licorice.
Going to go up to a counter somewhere and be like, I will have some unleaded black licorice, please.
Yum. But the lead's what makes it sweet.
You joke, but whenever I go past I'm sitting in the petrol station, the gas station, to use the American term.
It is sweet. That's why like kids would eat lead paint chips and stuff like that.
It smells good. It does smell nice. I can't deny that it smells appealing.
Anyway, back to Star Trek.
Back to Star Trek. Yes, no candy in the
we got lots of reviews tonight.
Yes, no candy in the warp room.
Or the war room.
I was trying to go for a vague Doctor Strangelove reference. Yes, but tweak it.
Gentlemen, please. No licorice in the war room.
So yeah, and that's what leads to the admiral scene, because Saru's filling them in. They've got a location there, which presumably is where they're probably going to go next episode. And that's that. I forget. I feel like I'm missing something from this back chunk.
There's a lot of like goodbye Giorgio stuff.
I like Colbert making a dig at the entire crew, where he's like, "Oh, she was my most difficult patient," and that's saying something for you lot.
I think you were saying last week that you didn't really enjoy Captain Killy so much because you think the actress is just too warm to play Captain Killy. I really liked her in this. I liked the way she had like a mischievous tone whenever she said anything. Like it wasn't really what she meant. I thought she was great.
It's the sort of thing. If I'd never seen her play Tilly, I may not have this issue, but I can't help but see the goofball that she is. I
thought she was really fun as Captain Killy.
It wasn't a problem for me per se. It's more just kind of a like I can't separate it in my head, so it's just like, that's what it is. It's just not like when Michael's yelling, kill me with honor, or they'll see you as weak," and she's like screaming and foaming at the mouth as she's like yelling for her to be killed. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'll buy this.
Yeah, I think Shaniqua has a little bit of Avery Brooks acting style also. Or she's probably more Nana Visitor. She's very Nana Visitor-like. She's very intense. She gives it her all. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I was expecting this to be Giorgio's goodbye, because I wasn't really expecting her to leave. I thought she was going to be around in her new form for the show going forward, but now she's been set off to go and have her own show. I mean,
the credits have been saying special guest star for 3 seasons now.
Which is why you don't think about it, because it basically sounds meaningless. Because if it's there that long, it's meaningless. Like, well, she's a regular, but she's getting paid more. That's basically what that means. She's getting paid a special premium for being on the show.
She is a movie star.
That's true. Well, yeah, but they don't say special guest director Jonathan Frakes, do they?
They don't.
He's just director.
They should.
Should they?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. He's basically just become the Star Trek director, dude. He's just made a career of. He's like, he'll do a cameo occasionally. It'll be a cameo on Picard. He's like, yeah, I'll show up.
LeVar Burton does a lot of directing also on the show.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
probably not as much as Frakes. Yeah. Because he sort of directed. He sat in the director's chair a little bit late, and he never did a Star Trek movie. I don't think he did anyway.
They should get Shatner to come in and do like a finale. The cowards.
As a fan, absolutely. Doesn't make sense. I don't care.
Have a cameo. Have some sort of like old hologram recording of like of Kirk before his death.
Sure.
Just a record.
He looks the same.
And Joe, I'd love if it wasn't like even a serious thing. It's just like, I don't know, let's say someone's getting into some cooking and like, I want to look up like someone's like tips on how to bake this thing. Oh, there's an old blog.
It would be
here.
Jonathan Frakes. It would be Will Riker. He was the cook cameo.
But I love the idea of just cutting to old Winnie Picard, or not Picard, sorry, Winnie Kirk, and just him.
Winnie
like,
the Pooh Kirk.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh Kirk. Yes, I took that from you. I didn't make that up.
He had the body of Winnie the Pooh when he climbed the El Capitan. Yes. This is going too long.
I mean, we're done. I don't think I have anything else left to say about the actual episode.
No.
I think it's done. Okay, we're done.
I'm excited about the Kelpian ship that we'll be seeing, and looks like we're getting more into the burn episode, and I do want to know what happened. I'm fascinated about this universe.
Feel the burn. God, yes. see if it turns out to be called the burn because somehow Burnham is at the center of it. I'm gonna be so pissed. Like, so if like the reason why they call it the burn is because like they saw like a fragment of a thing that said burn, but then like someone wipes off the rest of it when they find the ship and it says Burnham. I'm gonna be like, no, what have you done? Stop making everything like tie back to the same character.
No, obviously it's not the same thing.
It better not be. All right, well, we'll be back next week with episode 11 of the season, because there's 13, I believe.
Will I be back?
I think you'll still be back next week.
Okay, fine.
I think I'll be back next week. I'll keep you updated though if that mischievous ginger gets his new computer before then. But
okay.
You can, of course, let us know what you thought of the episode and the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show financially, how can they do that, Tara?
Sure, yeah. If you enjoy our reviews, please check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. And if you donate as low as $1 per month, you will get access to bonus episodes of other shows we do, including The Ace, which we talked about, The Atomic Cinema Experiment. It is our science fiction movie review show. So please head over and check that out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, Doug Jones is 60 this year. I was curious how old he was, because you ever see
Can't
his
tell
face
under the makeup.
Yeah, he's under the makeup. He's a 60-year-old man now, going around in that makeup.
Yeah, he's been doing movies for a long time.
Yeah.
Always under makeup.
Yep, he's in those very mediocre Hellboy movies. Fight me, Tim. Fight me.
I'm sure he's watching this review.
I hate Star Trek. There's no way in hell
He's notoriously Star Trek hater, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, that is us. That has been our Discovery review. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed some of these rambles. But we'll see you next time. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?